Welcome back to ShopDog-Garage. 67 Camaro video. Time to get a little work done on the RocketShip. Been a little busy at work lately. Haven't had a lot of time. So taking a few days off here. And on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, I think we'll get started. Catching up where we left off. I've been putting down the feather edge. This fender is taped. That deck lid is taped. This fender's half taped. What else did I do? Oh, did the cowl. It's literally been a week. I haven't been out here. Looks like I did the spoiler. And I must have been pre-planning, because when you cut this off, one side, in fact here, a great example. This side, paint sticks to. This side, paint doesn't stick to. So I must have been keeping that square. I've got to tape off the car for the rockers. Got to tape off the floor, tape off the dash, tape off everything that's black, tape off the trunk, because obviously we want to hit the lip here. We won't go into there because we can do that all at once, but there's a gasket that goes here, so we're going to tape right up to that edge. Oh yeah, I still got to do the doors. So yeah, there's a bit to do, but the only thing I've done in the last week, well, oh my god, last 2 weeks, is Diesel and Pixie came up and helped me hang new plastic up here. After a while, you get so much on there, and because I roll it up and drop it and roll it up and drop it, it gets a little flaky, so I didn't want that. So we put new up. Anyway, let's get cracking. Now that I kind of remember where I was, I'm going to get set up, and that fender is where I'm going to start. So I'm going to move it to right here and finish that one off. As I already said before, this is absolutely tedious stuff. Oh, put that piece down. But I'm doing the transition. I just finished another roll. On the upside, it's only $30. That's sarcasm. But I've still got to do that piece and a couple other little spots, and then this one is ready. Oh, and I've got to do this long edge. And after that, I'm probably going to go ahead and attack the valance and the header, and then we'll do probably the extensions, and then I'll tackle the doors, and when the doors are done, we'll get in there. Hopefully we'll get this completely taped off this weekend. We will see. Well, this isn't awesome. This tape I've been putting down, and I'm going, God, this stuff just doesn't stick as well as you would think. You know, it's 3M. It's expensive at 30 bucks a roll. You know, what am I doing? I was going to open this roll that I recently bought, and I couldn't find it. And I'm like, okay, well, I ordered a box of it. So I just opened this box of it. And inside this box was instructions. And the instructions are definitely telling me I'm doing it wrong. So let's show you what you're supposed to do. Strip first. Tape it off. You know, and then come in with a second one. Then put tape over that. So, yeah, that'll, very, very interesting. So I've got to decide what I'm doing wrong here and what areas. I guess I misunderstood what that tape did. So, literally, like right here, yeah, see, that's the part that makes it soft. Not that flapping, just by poking it up here. I've wasted a roll of tape, but you know, you gotta learn. So this literally isn't gonna do anything. Okay, so I just experimented with a piece, you know, just to see what back taping it does. Obviously this piece isn't where it needs to be. It needs to actually be right in here. I've just got to figure out how to make that happen the way I want. I've also got to pick my hard lines a little better. So that's what it is. This whole project's nothing but learning a thing or two. Well, obviously it's been a few minutes. Okay, I've got all those back taped again. Back to it. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and attack these two here. I've got a stand for them, so let's get cracking. Well, I tried not to be so wasteful, but I could not find a happy way to tape that with the plastic that didn't waste more tape. So we just went ahead and made it green. So I looked at the other car because, like I always say, it's really handy having a spare car to look at. And this portion would be really hard to spray once it's assembled on the car because of the angle. So I went ahead and did that little soft edge lip here and here. And of course we're painting both sides here, so I just blocked off the centers of the holes, kind of keeping all this lip. I got to do a little trimming right here from where I was working on the other side, but that should allow me to make this look pretty nice. Now, does this have to be blue? No. Is it going to be blue? Yes. Time to do the header. And I don't know where the time goes, but I gotta go make dinner. I've been out here for 5 or 6 hours already. So we got these guys taped off. Deck lid. I'm gonna do a little bit more pressing in here, but should be fine. So header, cowl, valence, spoiler, and fender extensions. So we're getting there. We're getting there. I think tomorrow is doors. I've been really thinking about what I'm going to do here. And the thing I'm the most worried about, of course, is right here. How do I seal that? Keep things from just blowing in. It doesn't actually matter if paint gets in there, but I'd really rather it didn't. You know, getting to these isn't too bad. I can get my hand into all of this, even into these two Viper holes for that little snubber. It's up in this corner that I'm going to be working that's going to not be as fun. One thing that's nice, I don't care if I have a hard line here. It's going to be behind a glued in weather strip. The other spot right here, remember, window fuzzy goes here. In theory, I don't actually have to paint that. I'm totally going to paint that. So, yeah, I think that needs paint at least down to here. This all needs to be painted, and I got to figure out exactly how I'm taping that. And we're painting this stretch here. I realized traditionally the door, all of this would be blue, only that top would be black. I think this will look a little nicer with that weather strip. In fact, I think I have the weather strip. Yeah, see. So you can see just how wide that is. So that takes up a bit of room. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. Be back in the morning. And it's the next day. Gonna get back to work. Remember what we were doing. I'm pretty sure I was getting ready to hop on doors. So let's push all this stuff to the back and get a door over here. I think I like working right here. One, you get the nice gentle breeze off of that, but two, you know, just the good light and everything. That's a good spot. So let's get cracking. All right, this has taken a few minutes, but I think I've got something going here. One thing I did is I don't want to have to deal with these holes, so I did put some screws in from the other side. I've got tape and paper wadded against those on the back side. Every hole from the inside has tape on it. In fact, you can probably see it here. And we taped from the outside, you know, where the hard line's going to be. I'm going to cover this whole thing, so, you know, it's still more to go. I just wanted to show where I'm at. Because what I don't want is any pressurized spray getting in somewhere, coming up here, and ruining what I did. You know, it probably doesn't actually matter if it does it down here, but it does up here. So I'm going to finish that tape line. Then I'm going to probably just paper that. I don't think I'm going to plastic that. And then I will flip the door, put the plastic on the outside. And then one of the other things is I did make sure, like, these holes are going to get taped. Those holes have already been taped from the one side. But because this shouldn't be under direct pressure, tape here should be enough. But on this one, obviously you got to do it because, you know, we're painting that side. And then originally I was going to try to not get any overspray inside the door. And then it dawned on me that it really didn't matter. So to keep this nice, I think that's what we're going to do. Because remember, I'm taping off right here. So that won't get paint. This will. So it's just that and this all along this edge. All along that edge. That's all that's getting painted in this round. So I got to continue taping. But I think this is the approach I like for the doors. A lot of this is probably overkill, but I've already had one overspray event and I don't want to repeat that. Look at that. The Naughty Twins are here. They've been helping. So I did get that door finished like we were talking about earlier. So I've got the multiple layers. I'm hoping everything is good there. But while Pixie is here, she gets into places so much easier than the rest of us. So she's been in taping off under the dash. We're actually going to do another layer yet, but that just is pushing and protecting. And I think Diesel and I are going to go ahead and drape the roof, leave it really long, and then pull it back and tape it off in the structure back here somewhere. You know, I don't want any air hitting any of that and knocking anything down. So it's not that I care if it got paint on it. I care about the fact it's not prepped. So when we jam it, it's going to start probably right here. So right in here, coming across to right here. And we're going to jam down along this rocker, up along here, around. And I got to decide if it's easier to do this part when we're jamming or if it's easier to do that part during the actual painting. Either which way, there's a divide line right here. So I might tape it for it. I'll think about that as we're working. So the inside of this obviously will get taped. The floor is getting covered. The dash is getting covered. The ceiling, the sail panels, the stuff panel, the package tray, obviously the exterior eventually here. But you can see we started working in the trunk and got the hinges down as low as they want to be for now, but that should be out of the way because remember, we're going to tape the trunk off along the weather strip line and just do that jam in there. It's just going to be easier to get the gun in and around this way because when we paint all of this, the deck lid will be floating way up here somewhere so that we can kind of get that edge and get this edge so that there's no seam here where it would just be so hard to blend. So we're learning as we go. All right, Nixie and Mushka came in to kind of check on our work. Neighbor Jeff dropped by for a little bit, so he was helping tape the dash. This may seem wasteful, and we're even going to put plastic over it in just a minute, but I really don't want to paint this black twice. So let's, I'll waste $7 worth of tape to not have to paint that again. We'll put a little more tape up here. I don't know what else we need to do up there though. And I've got to finish all of this stuff, but I can do that myself. While I've got help, we're now going to run a sheet of plastic from up here somewhere to right here. In fact, I'll probably run the tape for it first so we have somewhere to land it. And we're going to run it all the way through, try to contour it as best we can, and get it down as flat as we can so that anywhere we want to paint, the gun or the hose isn't in the way. Okay, we'll be taking a break. Oh, we got some meat snacks. So this is where we're at right now. Still got a bit to do yet, but that's quite a bit of progress. I don't know what I'm going to do up front yet. That's why that isn't taped. And those two nice boxes I kept, they'll keep things from flapping. Okay. It is a tad warm, but not bad out. Sun's starting to go down a little bit. I do have some tasks this evening, so won't be working too late, but this is where we're at. I had to run in for a minute. Oh, I left the radio on for the last 20 minutes. I got the car up. Makes it a little easier for an old fat guy. But I'm starting to do this trim out here. And then it dawned on me that at some point I better find out if I put the seam sealer in now or after the paint. Gonna want to know that. So I think once I get that taped off, obviously still got all the outside of the car to do, but and the engine bay and undercarriage and everything, but that's actually not the end of the world compared to this stuff. Oh boy, this is a nightmare. And still got this one to do. Luckily I've already done one, so I think I got a better handle. I don't think it will take as long this time, I hope. So still a lot of tape off decisions to be made yet, but we're getting there. Well guys, I've got some commitments tonight, but we've made quite a bit of progress. I also got to ask Harlan about, and I found it, I've got two kinds of seam sealer. I've got heavy bodied and self-leveling. I got a feeling the one I'm going to need is heavy bodied, so I think he's got a gun. I've got more tips, so I found that. It took a little while, but I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to fill that in before paint, so I will ask that and find out. I know it doesn't show up in the camera, but we got that feathery stuff here taped on what I think is correctly now. And we chose a transition point. Ooh, I'm going to fix that though. I see something I don't like. But yeah, this is kind of where we're at. And then plastic's going to go all along the outside of everything, you know. Everywhere that isn't supposed to be blue is going to get plastic. It's not the cheapest stuff, but it's also not, you know, the end of the world expensive. And everything back here I'm just going to wrap real well. And then you can see a lot of the undercarriage plastic needs redone. And I better protect the engine bay. So, and a door. So that's tomorrow, is that door and more taping. I'm going to try to get this video up today. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.